Good evening, everybody. Tuesday night, the 25th of July for episode 94 of So What's Been Happening. It's me flying solo tonight with a few of the boys, which is going to be great. So cheers to Berkey, Cuz and Lovey, who are off doing other things on an unscheduled Tuesday night that we thought we'd take an impromptu, or take it while you can, basically. Take it while you can get them at this stage, a band that's on the rise. We've had these boys on the show before, episode 88, which wasn't so long. It shouldn't be so long ago. It was actually 4 months ago. The boys had just released a single for this upcoming album. And now, after release night this last weekend, the boys are out and about. Cold Irons Bound, if you haven't heard of them. Please join with me tonight and have a chat to the boys about the music, about their band, a few other things that we'll throw a few sneaky questions that hopefully they don't get too often, and I don't like to get them to prepare for. So we like to just shoot from the hip, really, with our conversation and just see where it rolls. So without further ado, let's bring on one of the lead boys in the band. Well, probably the first guy I met from this band. I met him at Brunswick Ballroom one night, just having a chat through a friend of ours, Naomi, and got to meet Mark Adams, and what an absolute gentleman. So let's bring him up. Mark Adams, how are you, mate? Welcome back.
Thanks for calling me a gentleman, Aaron. That doesn't happen very often.
You can take it.
Yeah, I can.
Welcome, mate. It's been a few episodes since we've had you guys on, and we're lucky enough tonight to have Ben with us as well, joining, and hopefully James possibly a little bit later. But firstly, thanks for coming on, mate. And here we welcome on Sam Fidian as well. Welcome, Sam. Welcome back, mate.
Thanks for having me. Yep.
It wasn't too long ago, 6 episodes or so ago, but all of a sudden, it's 4 months have flown past, and some great things are happening with the band, and pretty much a full book for you guys for a little while, which is exciting to see.
Yeah, it's been a lot of fun. 4 months ago, it was warm. I remember that night. I was sitting where I am now. It was, but only 6 episodes, did you say?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yep. Wasn't that long ago. So There you go. We spread them out. We were doing once a week at one stage, and we're getting back to that stage, and to the point now where we're getting a lot of artist requests, which is fantastic, and it looks like we might even do a 2 a week in the future. So it's an exciting time to be back involved and out watching music again. But all right, we're going to bring on one of the other boys in the band, guitars and vocals, Mr. Ben Carter. Welcome back, Ben. Well, for the first time on So What's Been Happening.
Hey, Ben. Hey, good to see you.
Yeah. Thanks, Aaron. Thanks for having us. It's about time I'd joined in on one of these things. I just scraped in, just put the kids to bed. So hopefully they don't come down and start banging on the door.
No problems. That definitely happens on this show. Trust me.
Bet it does.
It's a witching hour.
That's why we don't set too many agendas. Anything can happen here. But look, the next time you boys get to grace the stage is this Sunday at a event that two of you boys put together. And when was the first Fuzzy Sundays? Can you tell me how long since you've been doing these?
January 2020.
2020, no. Right? Yeah.
No, he's making that up. Don't trust him. No. January 2020?
No. Sorry. What was last year? 2021. 2022. January 2022. Sorry. Yeah.
Don't ask Sam any more number questions.
Righto. We'll get there on those. That wasn't that long ago. Put it this way.
Yeah. Straight after lockdown.
Yeah. And there we go. Fuzzy Sundays. July 30, Coburg RSL. Just put it in your diary and clear your diaries on a Sunday and make sure you're there. We'll talk about that a little bit later, but that's the next time you get to see these boys up close on a massive bill, actually. So nice that you guys could jam yourselves in there as well and give everyone that special treat to see you guys again. So, all right, boys, we're going to kick off with this new album. Pretty much when we first spoke, you just released the first single from memory. And it's an exciting time to get this back on the road again and finally out and about for you guys. The time frame pretty much to put this entire album together. When did you guys first start recording?
It was around about the time Sam mentions there, just when I can remember the first Fuzzy coming. Yeah, numbers again.
Yeah.
Not going to mention the war, but it definitely was a war album, right? There was a whole bunch of demos and songs around that period. And then when all that ridiculous stuff finished, we went in and tracked it pretty quick. So let's say across 21 and 22. Yeah. And it came out this year. Probably could have come out a bit earlier, but it would have been a massive stress. And we try to avoid that now. Whenever we can. It's no point killing yourself. Put a record out when you're ready and everyone's on top of it.
Sure. Ben, how does that compare with other time frames of your previous couple of albums? How does this one compare in relation to this one together?
Yeah, it took a while. The pre-production took a while because of COVID.
You mentioned the war.
5 minutes in. World War II.
There's the C word. So anyway, it took a long time because that we couldn't really all of us be present. So it was just whoever could turn up, whatever restrictions you had at the time. So yeah, a long time in the pre-production, but then we took our time because we produced the whole thing ourselves. So yeah, drums and the bass, all those beds were recorded at Headgap Studios.
Bass wasn't
early on. Bass wasn't?
No.
I was just for the drums, wasn't it? Yeah, it was all for the drums. Yeah. And then so the rest of it, we just took our time just piecing it all together. So it took a couple of years, but then it all came together pretty quickly in the end. But yeah, the other albums were tracked pretty quickly in comparison, but this one just gave us the opportunity to do it our way, I guess. That's what you hear on the record. Basically us. There's a lot of overdubs, there's a lot of layering, that sort of stuff, but that's where we come from. I think a lot of the bands that we were into, 90s bands that were doing a lot of their own production and just sort of putting a lot of layers on, lots of 12-string guitars and the Nashville tuning where you tune up an octave. You used to use the thinner strings that you'd have on a 12-string, tune up an octave to get that particular sound. So we're able to take our time doing that to get the sound we wanted for this album, and a lot of it was recorded remotely until later on we could sort of come together. But we were pretty pleased with the outcome. Great bunch of songs, and I think the production held up pretty well. In the end, we were really happy with it. Yeah,
absolutely. Just the challenge of recording remotely during the bygone era that we call the Big C, that we don't talk about anymore, but. Guys, what was that like really for you guys? You probably haven't experienced that before, or were any of your other songs on other albums recorded kind of remotely as well? Sam, give us your thoughts on how it was. I mean, you're a little way away from these boys as far as location and living day to day. How often do you guys get together and put it in a studio, or how, what was the thought process, and not so much a thought process, but what was the feeling like recording this one remotely?
Yeah, it was really interesting to do this way, because we used to live so close to each other. That's how we got the sound. I feel that's how we got the sound. We were neighbours, and so we used to spend time playing and just playing music next to each other, just jamming. And so being separated made it very different. Didn't have as much of that sort of energy that you'd have when you're in a room together, but we managed to get that energy somehow, I think, through doing it remotely. And I moved to the country, and Ben moved to the coast, so we're very separate. But when we get together, it seems to be blended very well. It was really interesting to record that way. It was very taken aback a little bit. I was not. I like to jam with people. I like to have a you sit around and have a jam with someone. You come up with something. You keep going with that and all that. And this was not that, and it was very different. And I thought we'd come up with something really good.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's very different, than what we usually do. Yeah.
Yeah. So, Mark, have you guys done anything like that?
We don't get the opportunity to hang out or jam very often.
Yeah, so we do hang out is when we do basically play a gig or rehearse for a gig. There used to be times where you get together and actually go and watch.
It was every Friday night.
We see each other all the time because we live really close together. Like Sam and I lived a stone's throw away, and there's a lot of backyard jamming on acoustic guitars and things like that. But
sure.
We can still do it thanks to the technology. We can still do it because of the technology. If it hadn't been for being able to do it, like everyone did during that time, that everyone was doing the same thing. A lot of good material came out of that because that was the only way to do it. And for us, maybe even if it hadn't gone that way, we still would have had to have done quite a fair bit of it this way because we just sort of live further apart now. But we've managed to make it work, which is
I think so.
The main thing, The album itself, I guess, just shows that we made it work, and we've still be able to play shows. And
definitely. Yeah. So, Mark, can you remember another song in your previous couple of albums where you've done a remote record or at least demo?
I had to think about that question, Aaron. Yeah, before this record, we sort of snuck out a little song just before war was declared, like literally a few months before. It was a cover of a Bob Dylan song called I Dreamed I Saw St. Augustine. And that was sort of a semi-remote effort, definitely self-produced, like all of it. And that, who knew, right? That became the blueprint of what we'd then go and do another 10 songs as. That's just a pure coincidence. So we sort of got used to the technology, got used to, getting good takes and mixing ourselves. But that's it. Before that, no, as Ben was saying, it was always a studio. So you sort of are watching the clock and punch it out pretty quick. But we didn't fall into the rabbit hole that I know a lot of people do, where you take 7 years to make a record because you're not watching the clock. Like, we got on with it. There was one bit I realized it was sort of on me to get a whole swag of guitars done in this room I'm in now. And I just went, oh man, I'm not going to do this. It's just going to keep dragging on. So I'm lucky. I took a month off work, long service, and just got it done. And then 30 days later, all of a sudden you could see the light at the end of the tunnel. You know what I mean? With we'd broken the back of the record, and we were starting to get into vocals, and songs we could do rough mixes and really feel and hear what they were going to be like. Had I not done that, we might not be talking right now. I don't know. We might still be.
You took long service leave to play guitar for a month.
Yeah,
it's pretty good, isn't it?
That's dedication.
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
Absolutely.
And your neighbours had to deal with that too. And,
that's
pretty good too. Consider you live in like downtown Brunswick, and your neighbours are basically just right there, other side of you. So
yeah, I was about to mention how good it is to have that kind of long service for sure. With work paying for it, even better. Paid for the album. Are they credited at all, Marky, on the album?
Maybe I should. I never really thought about that, but it's pretty sad. That's my idea of a good holiday, actually. Playing guitar 8 hours a day. I would drop Jack off at school and pick him up, but everything in between was just sitting in front of this screen here with all this crap you can't see. Recording and mixing with James's help a record and flying in takes that these guys would do remotely. And then Ben started coming here, and we finished it in this room, and then took it back to Headgap for sort of final mixes. So we started it there, did everything in between ourselves, and then sort of got Rowan, who's a friend of the band and worked on the last record, who's one of the house guys at Headgap, to sort of mark our homework and bring it home for us.
Nice. Very nice. All right, we're going to talk a little bit about the first single, and I'm just going to play a little bit of it now. So here we go with I Wasn't Thinking at All.
I would just as soon never tune in at all. Don't want to wind it back or attempt to recall. Intellectualize all you want, but I wasn't thinking at all. Yeah. Everybody squawks if the sky turned red blue. Maybe that's how they all think they're meant to move. You can turn away for a while. Get at your neck when you do. You wanna know what I'm thinking about. You keep on asking. You must believe that sometimes things get through the wall. And as to the logic behind what I do, you keep on asking. I was so occupied listening to you that I just wasn't thinking at all.
We can play it all, but you're going to have to jump onto coldionsbound.com and check it out, and check out the full clip. But boys, just tell me a little bit about how this one came together, the song as well, but also the clip. But give me a little bit about how this song came together. Lyrics first. How'd it go down?
It's never lyrics first. It's my riff, so maybe I'll start. It came really late. I think James was mentioning that to someone recently. It was the last song for consideration, I think, or the second last. And I liked the punchy sort of riff. I could hear in my head what it'd be like. And then the lyrics came after that. I think it's a bit of a rant, this song. It's sort of about accepting that, I don't know, I don't want to say with middle age, but just with a busy life, you just forget things. You don't think as much as you used to about stuff. You go into autopilot. It's being a bit angry about that, but at the same time thinking, well, that's all right. It's sort of nice. Ignorance is bliss. Yeah. And a quick sort of blast, 2.5 minute power pop song, which we've had more and more of over the last record or two. So that's where it came from.
Yeah, I love it. I love the positives and negatives of that title. I wasn't thinking at all. Sometimes that could be a good thing because you can just do it, and I suppose die by the sword in some respect if it doesn't pan out, whatever you do in life. But sometimes you can overthink it too and just not get it out there. So it has multiple meanings, I'm sure. But it's interesting. Everyone, has a different meaning on the lyrics of songs and all that when they listen to it and what it means for them. So I think that's always a good story to hear from someone when they come up to you and say, I thought it was about this, but it's really nothing about that, and it's something about something else. So tell us a little bit about the clip, Sam. What can you tell us?
Oh, the clip. Okay. I was going to just quickly say about that lyric of I wasn't thinking at all.
Yeah.
just quickly, friends of mine at the pub up here in Castlemaine, they kind of go, so bump into you or whatever. Sorry, I wasn't thinking at all. And sorry, I wasn't thinking at all. And they're mimicking what that song is, which is fantastic. It's so cool. It's just really nice to hear. That video clip was done by our good friend Trevor, who plays in a great band called Font. We did that straight after a gig at the the Tote, crazy ideas with green screens, and just to make it, I'm not thinking at all. That lyric really works, in my opinion, in that context. So we went down and played in front of a green screen and did weird things with amplifiers and all that kind of stuff. And I think it sort of works for that, for the way the song is. It's a short, 2.5 minute pop song. I wasn't thinking at all.
Absolutely. And there's plenty going on. It's a really good edit. I think it's something different. It kind of reminds me back to some old flicks from the 90s as well. I can't picture one of the exact songs, but it's got that real rage-esque feel. I think that relates to a few of your tracks actually. Whose idea was the head chop at the
the head chop stuff. Our friend Trevor, from a band called Font. He made that video clip for us. And there's some live clips in that of us at the Union Hotel, and we're like standing on top of each other and like kind of weird stuff. I'm like, that's sort of weird, but us, playing in that room. It's Trevor's fantastic, and he did a good job, I think. Yeah,
he did, and hopefully he gets to come back for another clip now and then.
Yes,
that'd be nice. What you don't see, Aaron, is all those amps. They're real, like they're actual. Amplifiers.
Yes,
they're not ours.
Yeah,
they're not ours.
We were at a location that Trevor's involved with. It's a backline hire company, and so all those amps were on hand, but we had to move them and lift them and stuff. And I had a bad back, so at the start of the shoot, I went, "Can't lift anything, guys," and everyone looked at me like, "You cheeky bastard," but it was true. I just stood on the side and watched everyone schlep those amps. Those are massive bass cabinets. Yeah. And Trevor would be like, "All right, next shot, get the other one, bring it back. All right, put another one on top of it. Now take them all away and replace them with the Ben amps, which were Fender amps. I had Vox amps. James went and candy picked all his favorite drum gear. There was a lot of carrying gear, and I did none of it. Not a single.
The bass rig was the worst.
Yeah,
the bass back amps.
Always seems to be, doesn't it?
But it was a wonderful time. It was so much fun.
Yeah.
As painful as it was great.
Do you know we also did Trevor's battery crapped out, so we didn't get it. But because I live around the corner, I hung out for another hour with Trevor, and we went and got all these vintage guitar pedals that they also have at this facility and laid them out at the ground at my feet and sort of did a stop action where they appear and disappear again, and we lost the footage. We couldn't use. Some of them were like, did you notice them in the cabinet near the front? There was some of those old British fuzz Tone Master ones and stuff. Really sought after pedals.
80, what are those?
80 different versions of the Big Muff. Yeah,
the big, that sort of stuff. Yeah.
But it ended up on the cutting room floor, so to speak, never to be retrieved.
Yeah. Okay. Well,
It
we'll move on.
it was a fun shoot. It was really fun. It was great to have that space to do that, and thanks to Trevor, and
Put it in the vault.
I think.
Yeah, it's a good one. So we'll move on to the second single. We'll get Ben to give us his a little words on how this one came together, called Conversation.
Conversation back to the blue. It's all everyone's asked about, 'cause I had barely got a handle on you. It's all everyone's asked about. I was hoping you would know what to do. It's all everyone's asked about, 'cause maybe what has happened is happened to you. It's all surely they can work it out. If they ask around, surely they can work it out. They belong on the blur in the face. All everyone wants to ask about. Now they wonder where to start their crusade. All everyone wants to ask about. Anybody's gonna get paid. Song everyone asked about. I stopped and think.
I could let that one go for a bit longer. That's a ripper. I love it. It's kind of got this weird Tool-esque kind of feel to it, but without any of the Tool, completely different style of tunes. But it's still got that cryptic, kind of hypnotic kind of still feel to that. I love it. Boys, tell me a little bit about that footage, Ben, and how was that one put together?
Yeah. So I mean, there's a couple of things I'd like to say about that, but mainly this one actually just came down to the budget. So we had a limited budget, which we used for Trevor to make the first clip, which he did at mates rates. And after that, we basically used up our budget, but there was still the second single to come up. So we basically was just floating around a couple of ideas, and Mark put this together in a remarkably short time, just splicing those ideas together, and presented it to us just to have a look at it and any edits we wanted to do. But we loved it. For me, it was, if you look at that, it just reminds me, again, going back to Rage, the kind of clip that I'd turn on Rage in the 90s at 1 o'clock in the morning, and I'd see a clip like that, and I feel like the clip and almost the song, probably minus the production, because it's a pretty good production, just harks back to those days, or those sort of clips that I would have seen from that time. So every time I see that clip, so which I love, because I spent most of my youth sitting up drinking beers watching Rage all night, and those were the sort of clips that would come up. And I'm sure back then it would have cost a lot more than would it cost us, which I don't know, it cost us basically nothing, didn't it, Mark, to do that? So I thought it was really cool, and it just suited the style of the song, and nice if we could get it on Rage, that'd be great.
Yeah,
you could back in the day, we just send in the tapes and they'd play it for you, but we're old now.
No, well, at least we all think it's rage-worthy. So it's a matter of starting a rage-worthy campaign and getting it there, because definitely it's back with a vengeance. Kids love it at the moment. It's made a real, rebrand, I reckon, that it's definitely popular again. So just tell me a little bit about the song, boys. Conversations. Some great lyrics in it. I really like it. Who can give us a little bit of intel on that one?
It's like I found in the last few records, there's been a whole bunch of songs that almost are conversations. Like, it's pretty wordy, is what I'm saying. Seems to be all this information, steer the conversation back to the blues. I'd barely got a handle on you. It's like spitting away, firing out all this stuff. And I think maybe subconsciously, it is about an open letter, a conversation, hence the title. There's another song off the first record called Whenever You Get Home, which is almost exactly that. I don't know if it's a couple talking to each other. It's certainly not about me or a bunch of friends talking. And the song lyrics are really just the record of the conversation. And maybe conversation's also about, if you ask around, there's a lyric in there, surely they can work it out. Like if you really want to find out something these days, right, you just get that out and you can. So I think it's about that. It's pretty cryptic, but I like the rhythm of it. It's maybe even just the rhythm and the cadence of the words before their meaning, but it makes enough coherent meaning to sort of get through our quality control.
Yeah.
And the videos, it's just found footage. I think it's some New Zealand 1950s telephone infrastructure footage. Yeah, and then all the scientific stuff and the scientists looking at screens and whatnot is University of Michigan from the 60s. Yeah, just weird stuff. And some graphics. Actually contacted the graphics guy. He's a physicist guy, again, from Holland, I think. And he just put his stuff up for free. And we asked if we could use it because we like the dynamic vibe of that in the choruses. So it's those three things combined.
Yep.
Again, made in this room, like most of the record.
Yeah, nice. It's amazing what you can achieve in a little 3x3 room these days, isn't it? Hence, the whole point of how this podcast came together was a tin shed, jammed in a tin shed during COVID, and me trying to reach out to a few mates in the world, and it turned into almost heading towards 100 episodes. So it's been a So yeah, thanks again for being part of this. I want to touch on just the last one, but it's not from this album. But I want to touch on the exchange and clip as well. I'll play a little bit of that for you boys, and then we'll talk about it.
Sweet.
Say I feature every share in any fanciful affair. Include the fleet of Cadillacs, surrender ditch some on exchange them for you. Would exchange them for you. Estrange them, exchange them for you. Think about the trouble we could get into. Yeah, just empty the accounts for freedom, try and let them bounce. I feel like splitting down the sides. Know the balance sheet don't change value. Would exchange them for you. Estrange them, exchange them for you. Just think about the trouble we could get into. Just think about the trouble we could get into. I don't mind.
That's big budget. That's when the big budgets used to be around. Hey, that looks like a big budget shoot was. Even though
The last
so young in that clip.
last few years have been most unkind.
haven't they aged all of us? Sorry to throw you that flashback, but from the album "Don't Lose Your Mind," boys. That's a ripper track, absolute ripper track. Goes off live too. So, tell me a little bit about that one. Let's have a little bit of a flashback. It wasn't that far long ago, by the summer of 17, 18. Is that right?
It doesn't feel like it was that long ago, but I guess that's sort of slipping away into the rear view mirror pretty quickly. But it was done at just down on Lygon Street at Muscle Shoals Record Store, which Marsden Williams owns.
Yep,
and that's a place where Mark's a local there, so I think he just approached Marsden and asked him if we could do it, which is kind of him because he had to close up the shop for a couple of hours. We just got a camera crew in there and did it. It was pretty cruisy, but you know, a great idea. I think. I mean, band playing in a record store.
Yeah.
As far as for us, that was a great idea. So it can't go wrong no matter how it turns out. I think there's a scene a bit later on where Mark goes up to the counter. You don't see much of Marsden, but Mark buys a record off Marsden. Judas Priest. What's it?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Judas Priest live in Japan or something like that.
Live in Japan. Yes.
Yeah. So anyway, we shot the clip and we hung around afterwards for a few hours, and Marsden took us upstairs and we had a bit of a jam. And we requested for payment that would buy him a case of beer, but anyway, we did. But it was it was a lot of fun, and we did it. It was pretty quick, just a couple of hours, and it was done.
Yep.
But
we played some Who that night.
Some Who, yeah.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah. What did you play, Sam? Did you play bass in the Who jam? I reckon I played drums.
I think there was just there was an acoustic guitar and some drums, and a bass.
Yeah.
Was that recorded?
God, no.
No, thank you. Mercifully, no.
Yeah, okay. Right. Anytime anyone plays the Who, I'd love to hear it, see it recorded. How good or bad is irrelevant. Nothing smashes out like the Who.
No. So,
yeah. Sam, tell us about that song, though, mate. Think about the trouble you can get into. What an awesome line, man. Seriously. Who come up with that between you guys? Do you remember?
That's a Mike Adams line.
Yep.
Nice.
Yeah, I reckon that tune's just a garagey love song, really. Yeah. I'd exchange it all for you. Think about the trouble you can get into. It's not too deep.
Yeah.
And again, like in 3 minutes. Yeah.
Yeah, it's really cool.
We should credit these people as well. So I wasn't thinking at all video. Trevor's studio is called Shogun Studios.
That's right. Yeah, that's it.
Samurai Shogun. And Exchange Them For You was made by Mr. Sam Reiher, which is Reiher. And I'm probably mispronouncing his name, but I think that's the spelling. Sam's a muso and filmmaker. And Conversation is in-house productions. And we're making another one. Bit of a reveal here. We're going to put out a song.
Are you doing it? You doing it, Mark?
And James is getting into it. So James and I have been doing found footage again in the same software, and
cool.
A couple of months. Just been thinking about the launch and everything at the moment, but in a couple of months we'll sneak another one out because it's easy to do and it's fun and people seem to respond to them. It's a great way to just get people to engage with the content at the end of the day. It's one more way for people to hear it. So,
Absolutely. I touched on it with a few bands. How important you think it is now, boys, putting out a single to have some version of a clip or that can run on, it can be split up into for socials and things like that. How important do you think it is, especially now signing with a label? Is it part of the label situation or that you've got to bring to the table, or how does it work now for you guys? Because you set I believe, a pretty high bar now, even though they're three very different concepts.
I reckon it's just personally absolutely essential because people want to see content as much as hear it. And as you say, Aaron, you can chop it up for Insta and Facebook or whatever platform it is. No, the label likes that we have videos, but I don't think it's mandatory. But it's just accepted that you will, I think. So I reckon whoever you are, whatever you're doing, whatever level you're at, you should put something out that has some sort of a video. Yeah,
it gives us a whole different.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I mean, if you're principled and you're not doing it for some strong reason, that's cool. And that's probably a story in itself worth telling. But I think everyone got to do it. Why wouldn't you when it's so easy? Yeah,
absolutely. Look, I think you guys are quite modest in the contacts you guys have been able to hook up as well, and getting them involved in your your editing and things like that, and shooting the stuff. Not all bands can pull that together, I think, and they rely on other sources to do that. But you guys have been able to do it easily by the by the sound of it, which is exciting and good to have in your back pocket, really, to help promote a song for sure.
Oh, Aaron, I just thought of something. Do you know it was a really big inspiration to start doing videos ourselves? Luke Sinclair, who's a friend of this show, right?
Yeah.
He made a video in the last year called for that awesome song Gravity. Have you seen that?
Yeah.
That's all found footage in the box.
Yes.
And he said he was really frank on social media. There goes my alarm to put Jack to bed. Someone else will do that. He did all that himself and hadn't done one before and did it for $0. And I think we thought, well, wow, we really respect him as a songwriter and a band leader. We could do that, you know. Check that out if you haven't seen it. Gravity by the Luke Sinclair set. It's just incredible. It's got this sort of, I can't remember what it's called, a degrees of separation, like American college astronomy film, and it goes up the galaxy and down into this park in Chicago. It's incredible.
Yeah, it is really
and all free Creative Commons footage, whatever you call it. It's all out there to be manipulated and have fun with.
Yeah, and re-pushed into music too, you know. A lot of this cool stuff fits really well to music without, like the old lava lamps used to, mate. You put the right tunes with it and it all looks good. So I want to touch on the launch. I want to play a couple little snippets from the launch that you had on, was it Friday or Saturday? It's a bit of a blur now. Saturday.
It was Saturday night. It was Saturday afternoon.
Saturday. Yeah, it was actually. It was a long night. A lot of people went to other gigs afterwards, after your gigs or beforehand. So it was quite a lot on the offering. So to pack out the Union was a great effort for you boys. So congratulations. Charles Jenkins always helps, no doubt, but it was great, fantastic. And just let's touch on Charles before we kick into this first clip. How awesome to have Charles again involved. You know, it's part of the playing a song with you guys as well. That was pretty cool, and I believe was part of your first launch, which is really cool as well. So, who wants to?
Yes, over to you, Sam. That's Sam organised all of that. So, thank you, Sam.
Charles is a friend of mine, and a friend of ours. Kind of Gold Islands bound, obviously, since we played there. But I don't know, he just sort of bounced on the band. Like he wanted to, have a sing with us, and that was pretty much it. Like there's not much else to go with that.
Yeah, he does do that very well, to be honest, Charles. Whenever he's got a, whether he's headlining or opening or whatever, he does include, the other artists if he can, and does do a special song together. And that's really special for the punters, I think. It's something that I think is a bit of a magic in some of his gigs, whether he's solo, duo, trio, or with a whole band, or just jumps on stage with you guys. So who chose the song you guys were going to play? Yeah, nice. It was a good choice.
But I chose it because I knew Charles would be up for it. So it was a bit of a loaded question.
Sure.
I think maybe we'd all probably seen the Jayhawks do that with Chuck.
Yeah, I've seen it a few times.
Yeah,
that was good.
And,
well, put it this way, you guys were a fitting band for that song for sure. So well done. But I'm gonna play a song, No Small Thing, just a little snippet of it that you played. I hope this does a little bit of homage for the gig. But here we go.
People that they can learn never stay. So don't anyone anywhere
I could tell you one thing, it wasn't easy to get a good shot at that gig. It was so packed and in around the bar area that the only spot was almost out the door to try and shoot that. So I did my best, boys. to try and capture a little bit of that gig for you. I know other people did and took some great picks actually. How important was it for the union, or why the union for you guys to choose to launch the album there?
Can I?
Go for it. Whoever wants to kick in.
Where our friends are. Our friends are they're in Brunswick. That's where our friends are.
Yeah. Just made sense.
I can't, thank enough of my friends for being there. An amazing bunch of them. Look at that. What the hell is that?
I mentioned before we started that. I think it was a special one for all of you boys. I think like a launch night kind of always is, but there's some added pressure, no doubt, that comes with launch gigs. But that little stage really kind of rocks it, doesn't it? It's got that weird little fence, or
the chicken coop.
The chicken coop, yeah, probably keeps some people out, to be honest. There's a few dancers on the night that try to set the place alight, but it was good. It was a great gig.
Thank you so much. Really keen.
Thanks for coming.
Nice
Thanks for coming, Aaron.
Yeah.
I remember saying hi to you in the crowd. Yeah.
There was lots of sure.
I was just going to say we could have tried a ticketed show, but like you say, I mean, we play a lot. We love to play, but there is a little bit of pressure when you launch. We thought, well, why add extra pressure of a ticketed event? You don't know how many punters you're going to get. So we just thought, like Sam says, that's where our friends hang out. It's where we hang out. The union, every time we get asked back there, it's a buzz. We still love playing it and places like it. And there's many others, but the union's pretty damn special. So it was a no-brainer.
Yeah,
cool.
Yeah,
and
that's where I went with it. We got asked to do a couple of other things. I was like, no, we're not going to sell 300 tickets to do that. Yeah. It was like, no, our mates are here.
Yeah. Yeah, I think to be honest, the union would have been happy. There's plenty of drinks sold, plenty of food sold.
Yeah,
the union were happy. And a 5 o'clock gig on a Saturday Arvo. It's interesting to see whether people are there or things are on. But just to throw the doors open and just ensure it was packed, and you still don't know if it's going to be packed, basically, whether it's a free ticket or a ticketed gig. So. Well done to you guys for doing it and putting it together. But I just wanted to find out the first song that was technically in the can and done. What was it on this album?
This album.
I know.
Yeah. Do you remember?
No idea.
Oh, you've got some good questions.
I reckon it was one. What do you reckon, Ben?
Well, it must have been something in the top half of the album there. Like, the thing is, like, some of the songs that were jammed on earlier, so it's something like Some Sweet Afternoon, I'd imagine.
Yeah,
I reckon you're right.
Because that was, we were playing that live. We'd given that a go before we went into record. So I think that was the first song that I think that we most likely would have started the track.
I reckon you're right. I can remember that was the first time we had a good mix of any song together, and everyone was pretty, quietly confident and impressed. We were going to get it right, and that's the first track on the record. So there you go. Track one is the first one we got in the can. Yeah, good question, Aaron.
And
we almost weren't able to answer.
I suppose at that point, and then you go ahead and nail the rest of them, and obviously you guys, you want to be perfectionists. You want to get this part out there. You've layered it up plenty of different ways over this time, and you've mixed it and then remastered it again, and done a few more tweaks to it, no doubt. How do you decide the first track?
Flip a coin.
Yeah. Well, no, it was a vote from memory, like what makes the record and what doesn't, and what's the first track.
And then what's the first single, that you're actually going to release out there?
Same deal. What do we call the album?
Oh,
Yeah, it is a democratic process, and that's why things can take time. But that's what being in a band's all about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, it was
cool.
pretty organic with this one. I think the album beforehand, we were butting heads over what was going to be the first few tracks, but that didn't happen with this one. It was pretty organic with all of that. The whole, the sequence and tracking everything. There's, I think that came together pretty easily. A lot easier than the album beforehand. That I remember the second album.
What?
There was
I reckon
that one that we were butting heads on not just the songs, but what was going to make the album. This one wasn't like that at all.
I think it's about timing as well, like limiting a record to what is an old format. A vinyl should be 40 minutes or less. Just keeps you disciplined. The last record was 45, 46 minutes or whatever. And for me, that's too long, but it's just because I've got no attention span. But I really like, even with a digital release, keeping it to 39, 40 minutes. And I think this is 41 or something, 40 and a half. And 11 songs, and a lot of them are pretty short, but there's still a couple of epics and a couple of ballads.
Yeah,
and there's a bunch that because of that, we've got like 4 or 5 songs that are just sitting there, almost done, sort of taunting us as to what the next record might be about and sound like, which is a nice problem to have. So we've sort of put we recorded a record and a half. And as Ben said, without too much faffing around, just went, well, that's this batting order. These guys are on the bench for the next one, in a good way.
Sure. And for the guitar gods out there, it's always a question that gets asked in a few bands is, how do you decide who takes the first solo on a song? How does that work for you guys?
We're doing that live is the main thing. I don't really think too much about it on the record, but there has been, not so much what might be in the set at the moment, but there's been quite a few songs in the past where there'll be actually just, a couple of solos that we'll do, one each, and then come back together and do a bit of an Allman Brothers style thing where you do it.
Sure.
Someone's playing another octave apart like that, that's always a great thing to do live for sure, no matter how you've done it on the record. But when you can take it in turns to do solos or the dueling solos, or even if you're not playing the Southern Rock sort of octave, sort of just doing dueling guitar solos, that can be a lot of fun because it can get really messy, and if it's live, it doesn't really matter. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Hey Ben, can I ask you a question? What T-shirt is that? Does that say Larkin?
It says Larkin Poe.
Larkin
Poe, band, an American band that does like soul and blues rock.
So it's good. Yeah, cool.
You haven't heard of them? You should listen to Larkin Poe.
No.
I was learning. One of them was teaching me to play very badly lap steel. I'd never played a lap steel before, but over the last couple of years, I can't remember which one. She has online lessons, not one-on-one, just you play YouTube.
Megan. So the two sisters, Rebecca and Megan, and Megan does the lap steel, and she posts a lot of DIY stuff on YouTube.
Oh, cool. Yeah.
How to play lap steel. So, but they're very, very good. And they post lots of stuff on Facebook, which is just them doing random covers of whatever they feel like, and they always nail it. So nice. Follow those guys. But great band.
All right,
we should do that song Easy When You Know How, the one with the double solos in it.
So that's an example, Aaron, where we do a couple of do a solo each, and then me and Mark come together and do the guitar harmonies as we call them, which is a song called Easy. Easy When You Know How. Which is our first record, which we used to play live all the time, and was a lot of fun. It's just just the way it goes. It's dropped out of the set, but that one, that was always.
Could be a fuzzy Sunday special. Who knows? I'm throwing one at you, boys. But you might not get a chance to practice it. But there you go. I just want to thank Miriam too, who kindly shot me a few photos where I stole them off her Facebook. But I did tell her first that I brought up before of the gig. So thanks for doing that for us, Miriam. And Berkey comment, love the simplicity of Arms Go Numb. There's some guitar, beautiful riffs that come together on some of your stuff, and it's a big jam sesh. But then there's also comes back to such some simple nature of some of the notes that you guys play and the harmonies and stuff. So it's really cool. It's a cool blend in amongst your whole set. I think you've got a really balanced set now. Is that a struggle for you guys putting together, the set list after this time? And do they change much, or do you kind of lock a set list in now and say we're going to play this for the next few gigs? How does it work for you?
Well, we tend to keep playing the same set for a while, mainly because we can't get together that much and rehearse.
Sure, yeah.
So it's something that we can do sort of a bit on autopilot and nail. We'll do that, which we had before putting out the album. But leading up to the album, we're trying to get all of this, most of the songs that are on the album into the live set, which we have. And every gig is basically a rehearsal for us as well. So the more times we can get something new into the set every time we play it live, that's sort of counted as a rehearsal as well. But one thing that we could crap on about for days on end is the alternate tunings. So the tunings play a big part of it, depending on how much stuffing around we do live. We do tune our guitars a lot on stage, but that's mainly because we're not just fine tuning, we're tuning to open tunings and alternate tunings all over the shop. So it's the actual set list, and the songs, that the order of the set is all about how we can manage all the different tunings. And there's still other songs off the album that haven't been played, like Some Sweet Afternoon, because that's in another completely different tuning, which is in the same tuning as the first song off the second album. So work it on out, but that's sort of how it ebbs and flows. We'll do a block which is in a certain tuning, and whatever songs are in that tuning, whether it be from the new record or the old one, we'll sort of just do 3 or 4 songs that tuning, and then move on to something else. And that's how our sets generally work. Even if you've got a couple of guitars, you still got to be switching guitars and all that sort of stuff. But that's the way it goes until you got some sort of tech person handing you guitars at every song. But that's never going to happen. But that's just the way we do it.
Yeah, no, it'll come, boys. You got to dream. You got to dream big, and that
is the dream. It's just someone to just be a guitar tech and hand us guitars. That's for me. That's basically it.
Okay, that kind of brings me to my next. I've thrown it down my list, but I'll bring it back up to the top. Is if you guys could play one dream venue this Saturday night, where would it be, and who would your support be? You can have anyone. So I'm going to hit you a few first, Ben. Favorite venue anywhere in the world?
Anywhere in the world? Yeah. Well, I mean, I haven't really travelled.
That's okay.
I've done travelling, but not in venues that I'd like to play in. So I guess it'd probably come down to.
It can be in Melbourne.
Melbourne venues. Places that you'd love to play the most. I don't know. I guess I've always wanted. Every time I've gone to the Forum, I've always looked at that and gone,
absolutely.
How good would it be to play a gig at the Forum?
Absolutely.
That would probably be the place that I'd want to play. As far as for another band, when you say a band to support us or we support them?
No, that's your call whether you want to go first or second. But you got to think you're the headliners now, and you should rightfully so. But who would you have your support, regardless of who they are in hierarchy now?
Who support?
I'd
want us to be the support, I think, because I can't see us playing the Forum as a headliner show. But I guess my dream band to play with would probably be the Drive-By Truckers, I would say.
Okay. Yeah. Cool.
Yeah. Ben.
All right, Sam, we're going to go to you next.
Ready? Okay. I'm going down this weird dark path. because I just got given this Roy Orbison Black White Night gig DVD.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Check this out.
Yeah. That's
$2
cool.
at the op shop. Seriously.
Nice. Seriously. That's
This
crazy.
is amazing.
Yeah.
So this is my gig of the century. It's got Jackson Brown, T-Bone Bennett, Elvis Costello, Katie Lang, Bonnie Raitt, Bruce Springsteen, Tom Waits, Jennifer Ward. All these. It's very.
Where was it?
It was in 89 somewhere.
Yep.
It's actually not written.
Right, okay.
But it's on YouTube.
Okay. So if you could, that sounds like that's your support underneath you guys.
That's my support band.
Yeah.
That's my support.
Yeah, support.
Band. Seriously,
Yep.
this is what I was watching before I jumped online tonight.
Nice. And where would you put it? Which stage would you put it on?
White Night. It's
Which
amazing.
stage? Which stage, Sam? Where would you put it?
Where would I put it?
Where would you play it? That gig.
Oh my god. I don't know. It's probably one of the best gigs ever. Yeah. I don't know.
Right.
Sorry. That. What was the other question?
Pick a stadium. Pick a stadium. You'd play this gig. That's all right. Pick a stadium, mate. Where would you? If you could put that gig, Cold Irons Bound are going to open. Where would you want to play? One venue in the world. Where would it be?
The Pyramids.
Yeah.
Egypt.
Yeah, somewhere up there. The weird thing is, Bruce Springsteen in this particular gig. I tell you, this is a good gig.
Yeah.
So Cold Irons Bound supporting Bruce Springsteen
At the Pyramid.
He's 73. I think we could do it. Yeah.
Yeah. Cool.
In 1973.
No, he's 73 years old. Bruce Springsteen's still playing, right?
Yeah, right.
But this is him in 1980, whatever. Yeah.
Righto. Beautiful.
Right.
Sounds good.
Yep.
Fair.
That's my thing for today.
Righto. Best $2.
Yeah.
Best $2 ever spent, I reckon.
It's unreal. It's like absolutely unreal. Sorry.
All right, Marky, over to you, mate.
At 1973. So can we travel through time?
Absolutely,
Yes.
you can. Yeah, we'll throw that one
right.
in as well. Yep.
So we're supporting Glenn Campbell and his band in 1973 at the Troubadour on Santa Monica Boulevard in Los Angeles.
Oh wow, yeah.
And Sam,
What a gig.
who couldn't even understand your question before, books the gig.
Mm.
No
And we'd
problem.
all be dead now, but we would have died really happy.
Absolutely.
Oh.
He would have put
Definitely.
weak, so it's fine.
Definitely. All right, a couple of last questions. The last album you listened to. What have you been listening to, boys?
Stars by the Simon Jouliffe Band. Get around it. It's incredible.
Yeah, nice. Very nice.
Really good.
Sam?
Randomly, not much actually. Yeah, I might leave that. Yeah, for now.
All right, no worries. That's cool. All right, Ben. Who have you listened to this week?
The name of the album, I've been listening to one of the albums from guitar guy called Hound Dog Taylor. He's just did a lot of open tune, slide guitar, Elmore James sort of stuff. I was listening to that for the last couple of days, but I can't remember the name of the album. But it's pretty rough and raw, sort of electric 60s blues stuff. But
Okay. Yeah, cool. All right.
Hey, Aaron, what about you, mate? Can we ask you that? What's the last record you listened to out of interest?
Yeah, it's a local artist. Hopefully everyone's around him and can support him, but very similar to Luke Sinclair, Jeb Cardwell.
Yeah, we all know Jim.
It's a cracking album. If you haven't got it or listened to it, just a quick promo. So I think it's Saturday night.
Yeah,
Might be Friday night. This is the launch. He's launching a new single at the Gem. So get along.
Yeah.
The Gem's always a killer, as we know. I was there straight after your gig, actually, for Queenie and Emily South, which was a cracking dual gig, another free gig. It was an absolute special for a Saturday. So if you're ever short on anything to do, head down to the Gem, that's for sure. And or Luli's Tavern or any of those in that local kind of area, and there'll always be something good on and pretty cheap too, if not free. So, all right, boys. I just want to very quickly touch on before we finish the album cover itself and the art along with your singles as well. Just give me a little bit of understanding of who puts this together for you guys. And you know, there's some really cool stuff in here. So, are they from the same person, or how does it work for you guys?
It was trying to keep a simple theme, Aaron. It happened pretty organically. It was iron. So old, like that's a Victorian era iron bridge. Does anyone recognise it? It's the
I know where it is. You pointed it out because that's where I used to work, and I can recognise that because I'd walk over that. So it used to be the old Sandringham line where the train used to go across the Yarra, and they kept those both the bridges, but one of them they made a path on it. But if you go underneath, that's where the Mark went and took photos underneath there. And then it was Mark basically you took all those photos and then took it to Colin, didn't you? Like I think, and he put that together. Matt Collins.
Yeah, it was just a simple theme of iron. I mean that one there obviously isn't an older bit of infrastructure. That's a bridge over the Merri Creek near Russell Station. But now you think about it, trains are a theme in all of them. I mean, Russell Station, the one previous, is underneath the Upfield line, maybe the Mernda line. Obviously, that first one was a rail bridge. And Matt Collin, our good friend, he lives out in the Goldfields near Sam. Really talented muso and graphic designer, has been there since the first record. We're really lucky. So there's a theme through all our stuff, and the next single as well has a really cool cover, similarly designed by Matt. Yeah, he's a good guy, very talented.
Awesome. And I just wanted to touch on a couple of gigs you guys have got coming up. Obviously, we'll talk a little bit in 2 seconds on Fuzzy Sunday, but obviously fans of yours, but also a band you guys work really well with is Little Fates, Brunswick Artist Bar. This will be a cracker downstairs in the Brunswick Artist Bar. And then we start moving into, that's in September, and then into October, Merri Creek Tavern, which will be, you'll blow the doors off Merri Creek Tavern, which will be a gig to see for sure. And then 2 sets, the post office. So a few things coming up there. So keep checking it out, everyone. coldironsbound.com is what you're looking for. Please support these guys. Grab a record if you haven't already. I know new merch is a topic of discussion, so that's going to happen. We need to get you guys out and about on tees and also other things. So look forward to doing that and getting that happening with you guys at some stage. If not, I'll be the first one to buy one for sure. So put me down for an XL. But thanks for spending an hour with me, boys. It's gone quickly. We could talk for another hour, I'm sure. But what else would you be doing on a Tuesday night? Let's face it. So, Marky, just before we let you go, and Sam, I want to talk about Fuzzy Sundays. Ben, feel free to hang on if you want. I don't mind having you on. As obviously we love having you part of this one. Eventually, that just means we're going to have to get you guys on again, because we need James on as well. So we're going to have a full band on if it kills me at some stage, boys. So you're not a new starter now, Ben, so you're welcome back anytime, mate. But Fuzzy Sundays, boys, this is really exciting. I think this is possibly the best lineup you've had. What's your thoughts on that? I know you don't like to probably judge them or have a favourite necessarily, but this is a killer lineup.
It's pretty sweet, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's fun. Everyone everyone after the lineup seems to get more interesting and more exciting, but the pressure's on to keep it up.
Definitely.
We just lucked out with this one.
Okay.
You know, how do we top this? It's like 3 months of pressure every time we go through this cycle, but it's a lot of fun. I hope you feel the same way, Sam. We've been doing this for 18 months now.
I'm on the same boat.
The sense of community around this little event is huge. Like we just set it up and sort of, you know, try and reach out to bands we respect. But it just takes care of itself, really. It's such a good. I mean, you've been to a couple, Aaron. You know the vibe in that room. It's such a friendly room, anyway.
Absolutely,
it's such a friendly organisation. Yeah, when you get the music punters in there mixing with the Coburg regulars, it's just a wonderful afternoon. And you know, this will be the last one in the cold weather. It'll start getting warm again. I think the RSL. I don't know if you're allowed to say this,
right.
but they're doing extensions and
right.
Yeah.
Out front, it's just going to be more and more welcoming as the warmer months come on.
Yeah, I've mentioned a few times when I hit that venue and talk to other punters in there, and I say, why aren't more RSLs doing this? Why haven't they grabbed this same, you know, it's probably not fair to say this, but it's a dying place in respect of the market. It needs a fresh kick, you know, a lot of RSLs, in my opinion. But this is definitely one that's progressive, and hats off to you guys for being able to, you know, maximize the space too. The guy that does the sound there, I can't remember his name off the top of my head, but he does a cool job, pretty good job trying to set up all those bands in not a lot of time. How did the first Fuzzy Sundays come together?
Sam and I have been talking about putting on some sort of event. I mean, we booked the gigs in Cold Irons Bound, the two of us, pretty much 50-50 over the years. And, you know, you invariably find yourself doing a 2 or 3 band bill. We said, well, why don't we do a mini festival and have 5 or 6 bands? And it was as simple as that. And the Coburg RSL is just a place we wanted to play. I think we'd maybe played there once, and approached them. And every time we get asked this, we've got to give full credit to Duncan Phillips and Outlaw, who do the Outlaw luncheons.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I don't want to say we pinched their model, but we were inspired by the way they do it. And our genre, there's a bit of crossover. There's definitely some rootsy stuff going on in Fuzzy Sundays, but ours is, I suppose, fuzzier and rockier, at least at the end of the day. But Duncan gave us tons of pointers and, you know, a model to go with, and he was so gracious with his time and his advice that we really just picked it up.
Scottish chat that we didn't want to talk about.
What he said. And the RSL went for it because, as you say, they're a really progressive music venue. I think they've had music there for a decade now, Aaron. They've really gone for it, stuck at it. And the guy you're thinking of, that's Tom Burgess is his name.
That's it. Yeah, that's it. Yep.
He's an RSL member and a muso, but he just, you know, put his hand up a few years ago and said, well, I'll teach myself to do sound engineering and be the in-house person here. So it's his room, you know, he takes a lot of ownership with it and does it with a lot of heart, with minimal gear. I mean, it's a small rig, but he makes it work.
It's such an amazing community that is involved with this thing. Like, we sort of run it, but it's just this community that just keeps putting this thing on.
Yeah, look, the great part is, Sam, you know,
we barely have to do anything. Me and Mark.
I think you're pretty modest, boys. I know you feel like you don't do much, but the answer is, you know, you still got to put the artists in. You got to get them in. You got to get them comfortable. I've seen you guys on the day, especially I've seen you, Sam, working the crowd, mate, as you do. I think it's a really cool thing that you guys have put your hands up for this. You commit to music. I know you guys are musicians and do your thing anyway, but this is a really important gig on the calendar for a few people. And you know, Fuzzy Sundays, I hope long may continue, because in that area, while there's venues, this thing, you're right, Mark. There's something little that's kind of cool about this little gig in an RSL when the doors get blown off that place, and it happens from, last time Kodachroma absolutely blew my mind there.
Oh my God, yeah.
To play solo, yeah, it was phenomenal, like really phenomenal. Joyce Pressure was incredible there. Luke Sinclair band, you guys have played before there, haven't you?
Yeah, year and a half.
A couple of times. Really looking forward to this one. I mean, you touched on before the Simon Jolliffe band, that'll be huge. Nathan Sex, Danny McDonald, the Grapes, little reform session. They've had a couple of gigs over the recent time, but that'll be really cool to make that happen again. And Berkey's favourite, Kim Salmon, will be fantastic to finish the day off. I know the Kim Salmon Smoked Salmon Tour is kind of kicking off now, and this is really one of the first ones that kicks it off for the whole tour. So congratulations, boys, on putting this one together. And if you've got nothing on a Sunday, especially this one coming up, make sure you look up Fuzzy Sundays. We'll put a link in the comments, and you can make sure you get ticks. It's the best value for money, trust me. And come and have a cold beer, or a heaps normal, as a lot of us do these days. But we're still out supporting the local, and hats off to Heaps Normal too for doing something special with making beer taste like beer. It's zero alcohol. It's awesome. You kind of feel like you're actually enjoying it, which is cool.
Yeah.
We're going to review. Heaps Normal reached out to us a little while ago, and we're going to review their beers on our show in the next couple of weeks. So that'll be kind of cool.
Oh, great. Yeah. Awesome. Yeah.
All right. I think we'll wrap it up there, boys. We can talk for another half an hour, but on a Tuesday night, I'm sure your little fella's long and hopefully in bed, Marky. And it's been great having a chat. So thanks again, boys. I'm going to go out with a little snippet. Go out with a little snippet from your show again from the weekend with All I Think About, which is just a little snippet that goes for about a minute. So we're going to finish on that. So thanks again, boys.
Cheers, mate.
This has been episode 94 of So What's Been Happening. Thanks again, boys. Have a great week.
Thanks so much.
See you Sunday.
Cheers, mate.